Good afternoon. It's been a nice, relaxing Sunday, contrary to my expectation. Um, I was expecting a very. I was just. No pals, no one to see, so I thought that's going to be shite. But it's been fine. I bought a new jumper, but this isn't that sort of haul video. New acquisition. Two wee Game Boy games from a friend who I suspect will not watch this, even though he has the opportunity to be made aware of it via my limited social media for this thing. Whatever. There's nothing I like more than inheriting games off of friends, because you just get whatever they've got, and usually they're reasonable about prices. And yeah, these ones are in decent condition. I already have Pokemon Yellow, but this one is in nicer nick. My one has quite a faded top bit from pushing down and pulling out of the Game Boy. That's kind of standard on Game Boy games. Just a thought I had. I've just recently been made aware properly about the different regions. So I don't think you can read it, but it says DMG, APSU, EUR. EUR is the region code, I suppose. There's a guy with someone on Instagram, just goes by the generic Nintendo Game Boy Collector, and I like their posts. The photos, like mine, are just game flat against it's not a plain background, it's one of these measuring kind of cutting board type things, which I've seen people use for Game Boy mods. I don't know if they do mod Game Boys, but often it's a few games at once because they post not per game, which is how I kind of like to do it usually, but per kind of purchase, I suppose. And they talk about the kind of regions. I think, for example, I saw a post of theirs recently they were really excited about what looked like a really generic kind of sports game, but the reason they were excited about it is because it's one of, I think, 3 or 4 FRA region carts, so only released in France, or a game that had a dedicated French release, as opposed to maybe an EUR, Europe code, where there would be a multi-language option. That's probably a lot more common for Game Boy anyway. So this is an EUR as well. This is Spiderman 2, the Sinister 6. But I had sort of been aware of this before because I had a copy of Super Mario Land. I can't remember what region it was, but I got another one, and I noticed that they were slightly different. I think maybe the size of print on the label was slightly different, but when I looked closer, I realized one was UK, maybe it was UKV it was called, and the other one was an EU version. And I didn't think much of it at the time. I sold one of them. I can't remember which one I chose to sell. But now I kind of know about this. I'm intrigued really to take better notice of it. And a game like Super Mario Land, Mario, I never normally say it like that. I'm just through exposure to American media. Super Mario Land, Mario. It's so cheap, it's easily found again, and EU and UK ones are probably almost equally common here, probably. Brexit notwithstanding. But yeah, I will collect anything for Game Boy as I'm discovering increasingly, even as um, I become more selective on other consoles. Game Boy is just like, yeah, bring them in. So I could see myself not embarking on the actual quest to get every game in every region as this collector on Instagram does, in cartridge form, at least to begin with, I think is the idea. But I would have nothing against having multiple regions of a game. Yeah, as long as they're not all like totally scabby, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, it's interesting. So I have a better condition copy of Yellow, so that means I now have pretty much. This isn't as good condition as the other two, but it's better. So I have good condition, goodish condition, red, blue, and yellow now. Red and blue are pretty nice. So I will probably as well really holding on to yellow. The other one, it's never a bad thing having multiple versions of Pokemon, especially if one can be like a playable version. The cartridges aren't really going up in value, but in other formats, I would be holding on to Pokemon games to watch them appreciate, I suppose, because they do that, especially right now, I suppose, but arguably it's a bubble, although I have seen the CEX price of red and blue go from 120, and it stayed there, and then and I was reading stuff that was saying it's a bubble, it's going to burst, and now they're 150, so we'll see. So Spider-Man, I got it because it's what my friend has, but Spider-Man games are fun. I'm really not into comics and that sort of thing. However, I did like Spider-Man when I was younger, and I don't know, there's something about Spider-Man. I think Spider-Man has such a... There have always been Spider-Man games, and they've always been kind of fun. Some of them have been really fun. It's just fun to move as Spider-Man, isn't it? Especially when they kind of got kind of 3D open world style thing.